Minnesota, we really like parades. We have them for all the normal occasions, Christmas, Labor Day, the 4th of July. Then we just started making up, like St. Urho's Day, fake holiday, fake saint. But the most whimsical, weirdest, and wettest excuse for a parade happens every spring in downtown Duluth. And it celebrates a tiny little bug-eyed silver fish that some people put in their mouths.
We are gonna have a smelt parade.
Welcome to Minnesota Historia. I'm Haley, your guide to the magic of smelting. Smelt. No, I'm not talking about the process of extracting metal from ore using heat, and I'm not invoking the flatulent proverb regarding the identity of whosoever may have dealt it. I'm talking about osmeridae. That's the scientific name for smelt. These silvery little fish, usually less than 9 inches long. Here's what they'd look like if they were puppets. These puppets are part of the annual Magic Smelt Parade in Duluth, Minnesota. In the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, Duluth and smelt were synonymous. That's because the rivers and streams of Lake Superior once attracted thousands of smelters, hungry to catch the randy little fish trying to swim upstream to spawn. The smelt run was an annual rite of spring, like Easter, or a new Fast and Furious movie. Usually in mid to late April, people would gather on shore and scoop up nets and buckets and handfuls of these little silver things. I'm told they can be quite pretty, shimmering in the night like precious jewels. It's almost a religious experience for some smelters. Then you get to eat them. Of course, you do have to remove their guts, but their soft bones and delicate skin means you get to otherwise eat them whole. Phrases like soft bones and delicate skin are a big part of why I'm a vegetarian and not a serial killer. There weren't always smelt in Lake Superior.
You know, that's part of the history that I can describe, how they got from Maine, which is where the eggs came from, to Lake Superior. So I'm Dr. Tom Robick. I'm a professor in the biology department.
They first appeared in Lake Michigan in 1912.
The predecessor to the Michigan DNR brought in millions of eggs and stocked them in multiple different locations. It's thought that the Crystal Lake eggplant was the source of the population and then spread rapidly from there. So they were in Lake Huron by the late 20s and into Lake Superior by the 30s, and subsequently spread throughout most of the lakes. And about that same time, sea lamprey were also naturally spreading into Lake Superior. And sea lamprey are a parasitic invasive species.
Like giant vampire leeches, they feasted on the trout that would have been eating the smelt.
Rainbow smelt, in the absence of a predator, really had a chance to take off.
And that's when the party began.
And so I remember collecting them as a kid. You didn't really need to bring a net or anything. You just show up and grab them with your hands.
It was like the hottest club in North America. Thousands of smelters on a beach wearing rubber pants.
Like a carnival atmosphere. Everybody had, you know, lanterns going and people having a few libations.
Of course, beer leads to drunkenness and litter, and my favorite, public urination. That was the dark side of the smelt run, but like all great parties, this one ended with a whimper. The smelt population declined drastically in the 1980s.
The Fishery Commission brought the lamprey down to a point where they could start to try and rehabilitate the lake trout stocks.
More trout meant less smelt, and an important part of Duluth's cultural history was suddenly in danger of being forgotten. That's when a hero stepped in to save history. And like all great heroes, this one came with puppets.
But anyway, we want this to be real, like Keystone Copy, kind of real fun.
Meet Jim Ure, the co-founder and director of the Magic Smelt Puppet Troupe.
The inspiration for it comes from the springtime smelt run.
They're fish, they're silvery, you see them in the water, and they're goofy, they run in packs, and so we're running in packs too.
There's an organization called In the Heart of the Beast Puppet and Mask Theater, and I came to Minnesota to work with them. I also, was curious about similar events in other parts of the world. I traveled to Trinidad and went to Carnival, and nothing like it, certainly in Duluth. And I've also been to the Second Line parades in New Orleans, and that was another major influence on the smelt parade.
Second Line parades are like regular parades, except all the spectators actually joined the parade. The first line is made up of the floats and the bands. The second line is you, the regular spectators who hit the streets and dance behind the bands. This is not the kind of parade where you sit back passively and let other people throw candy at you.
I just put two and two together. You know, I took my background as a puppeteer and some of the festivals that I have visited in other places, and just kind of put it all together and came up with the idea for the Magic Smelt Parade.
Here's how it works.
Well, we all dress up in silver or gray, and we go over there and we explain the origins of the Smelt Parade, kind of, and have a bunch of Smelt people come out and dance around.
These are the Smelt people. You've got your Smelt Queen, your Smelt Guards, your Smelt Musicians, your Smelt Sheriff, your Smelt Pope, your Smelt Mom, your Smelt Baby, your Smeltbot 3000, and they all get together at the beginning of the parade and put on a little pageant.
Where we say the history of the Smelt, but it's not real. And we have a good time.
Now lift up your voices and raise a great cheer for the magnificent Smelt Queen!
Leading up to the parade, the Magic Smelt Puppet Troupe hosts workshops.
We have a basic costume that, you know, is our Smelt character costume, and then people come to the workshop sometimes. You know, one guy said, well, I want to turn one into a wizard. And I said, great, we need a Smelt wizard.
These workshops are for anyone attending the parade, as a performer or as an audience member.
In my mind, by design, you know, there's no distinction between the audience and the performers. That is, you know, it's a moving party and everybody goes down, you know, the lake walk together.
No one judges you, and it's sort of, yeah, that's what it's all about.
You can just show up wearing any old thing, but again, silver and gray are the colors of the day.
This is my sister's harvest dress, and it's, I don't know, it's a gray dress, so I wore it. And then I made this with, I cut open a pillow and glued it into my umbrella. And then this is just a bag I got at the state fair.
The parade starts in Canal Park, next to the aerial lift bridge. It travels the lake walk to Endian Station, where it takes a kind of dance break. Then everyone goes to a theater lobby and enjoys massive quantities of tiny fried fishes. But nobody's doing this for the tartar sauce.
I've done it every year because it's a fun activity to do. And Duluth is like a citizen. It's a fun thing to participate in, and it's a time to get dressed up and just have some fun.
No, let's think of the Smelt Kingdom as this sort of alternate or parallel, you know, society below the waves. So really anything goes.
A kingdom of Smelt gathers with glee!
Well, that was a pretty normal, straightforward episode of Minnesota Historia, but I still have some basic questions. Is Minnesota real? Do these things really happen here? Am I even real? Thanks for watching Minnesota Historia, your guide to all things quirky in Minnesota history. In future episodes, we'll be going even further and deeper into the quirky, soft underbelly of this very weird state. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and please become a member of PBS North to support projects just like this.